Are you struggling to eat better? Struggling to exercise more? You know you should do it. You have a pretty good idea what you should do. You just can't seem to bring yourself to do it. Well, one of the issues is willpower. There's a great book, one of my favorites that I read, called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And they studied willpower. And a great analogy for it was how it's like a muscle. Some people are born with more of it than others, which is just unfortunate for the people who have less willpower. But another part of the analogy is that you can improve it over time. But probably the biggest takeaway, and the one that's going to help you the most, is their insight that willpower, like a muscle, actually fatigues over time with continuous use and needs to be refreshed. So the best example would be you get up in the morning, and after you have a cup of coffee, you're fired up, maybe a good breakfast, you have a lot of willpower. You have a lot of mental energy. You can start thinking about all the hard challenges of the day. Who's going to get the kids to school? Do they need their project brought with them today, or is that tomorrow? Then you get to work. You've got all the hard decisions of which project you're going to work on. Is your boss going to be thrilled or upset you took that new initiative on your own without asking? You're starting to think through all these hard things. You start thinking at the end of the day, who's going to pick the kids up from school? Who's going to get them to their appointment? And then with all that mental energy, all that willpower you're using throughout the day, trying to make good decisions, trying to make the right decisions, not the easy ones, then you get to the end of the day and you start thinking about your workout and your dinner. So if you go to the gym, now you've got to think about what exercises you're going to do. How many sets, how many reps, machines, free weights, cardio, and then even what's available. Is that big sweaty dude still sitting on the one machine you want to use? So maybe you just give in and go find something that's open and do that for a few minutes and check the box and get out. So not the best workout, but you just didn't have the willpower to try to figure out how to do a workaround, how to come up with something better. And then when you get home, now you got to look at dinner. And maybe you have some good stuff in the fridge to cook up. But the thought of getting out a recipe, seeing if you have everything, running to the store to get anything you're missing, cooking and preparing it, it's just a lot of effort. So the easier answer is order a pizza. It's going to taste good, and the kids will probably bitch a whole lot less anyway. And then after dinner, maybe you get a craving for ice cream, and you open the refrigerator, right there in the freezer, there's that tub of ice cream. How likely are you at that point to close it and say no versus to eat some? You've already used up your willpower throughout the day. So those hard decisions around your exercise and your diet, you just don't have the willpower for it at the end of the day. No matter how much you were born with or how much you strengthen it, everybody runs out at some point. So the idea is to try to turn that to your favor and come up with some willpower tricks. So if you go grocery shopping, when you're on a full stomach, you're much less likely to buy the chips and the ice cream. And if you don't have it in your house, then when you get to that point where you're craving it, now you're counting on your willpower being low enough that when you don't have it, you don't have the willpower to actually go to the store and get some in that moment. So you're just not likely to eat it. It's not in the house, it's going to require more effort to go get some. Because you've already won the battle at the grocery store when you had high willpower. Same thing with dinner. If you can plan your dinner, already maybe prep it and cook it, you have a crock pot you've thrown stuff in the morning, or you've already planned and ordered something that's going to arrive by the time you get home, now you don't have to think about it. And so now thinking about even getting on the phone and ordering a pizza might actually take more effort, more willpower, than just eating what's already there in front of you, which is hopefully something healthy you planned out earlier in the day. And then with your workout, if that's something you struggle with at the end of the day, move it to the beginning of the day. Try to do it first thing in the morning. Or if you're not a morning person, but you know you're just not going to have the mental energy to think about it at the end of the day, outsource the thinking part of it. That's when it's a good option to hire a personal trainer who's going to put you through the workout. Or go to an exercise class. Somebody's already done the thinking for you, you just need to show up. So know that your willpower plays a big role in eating healthy and in doing the workouts that you know you should do, but you're just not finding the energy to do. But know that it's not your fault. Everybody's willpower taps out at some point. And if you're just putting those hard decisions at the end of the day when yours is already tapped out, you're already setting yourself up for failure. So use some of those willpower tricks, make the tough decisions when you have more willpower, and try to make it easier to make the healthy choices and actually harder to make the unhealthy ones so you can use your willpower. Even when it's tapped out, use it in your favor. Hope that helps. If you got any questions, send them my way. Thanks, everybody.